I felt that something was wrong. And the last night I lost more and more sleep. And the last night I didn't sleep at all, not a minute. So I was, despite I was in rather good physical shape, not able to come out of bed that morning. It was a Sunday morning. So my wife acknowledged that something was wrong. So she called a very good friend of us. And he came immediately from his summer house 2 hours away. And he brought with him on the way a psychiatrist that he knew and that he had used very much. So they came both. And my Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Bondevik, called my wife and asked her, how is it with Kjell Magne today? Because I think he had sensed that something was wrong the last days in government.
They start to pick up the signal that you were changing or something was happening.
He had really seen that. So he, and she told him and said that Kjell Magne is not able to come out of bed and everything is black for him, has much anxiety. So then he also came. So there were 3 of them. And he came primarily as a friend, of course. And I told him when I was in bed and he was sitting beside me that now everything is black, so I have decided to step down as Prime Minister. And he said, no, Kjell Magne, you must never take such an important decision when you are so much down. That was a good advice. He managed to convince me that I should not do that. And so the psychiatrist and the other friend, they got me out of bed. And the psychiatrist took me aside in the kitchen, and the others were in the living room. And I had so much anxiety that I could only sit down for 1-2 minutes, and then I had to stand up and go around the table and so try to sit down again. I will never forget that. And after some time, he gave me the diagnosis. He said, this is a depressive reaction. I had heard about depression, but never depressive reaction. So I asked him, what is that? And he told me it is a diagnosis in our manuals. And that means that something in or outside you has created a depressive reaction. And you are down to 0, which I really was. So that was a very special moment. And I remember that we had to discuss what to do. I was Prime Minister. And the next day we should have a very important meeting in the cabinet where we should finally approve the state budget for next year. And it was always interest from journalists, from the media around these meetings. And so everybody will see that the Prime Minister is not there because I was not able to be there and to concentrate on the budget. So we had to make a press release. And we discussed during the evening what shall be written in this release. And some said, Prime Minister is ill and cannot work and will be ill for 1 week or 2 weeks. But I saw a light in my dark tunnel for one moment. So I said, why not say it as it is? Why not say it as it is? That I have a depressive reaction. Because I was thinking, if I didn't say the diagnosis, there will be speculations. Has the Prime Minister got cancer or a heart attack or what is it? And we should avoid that. And the other and more important thing was that I wanted to contribute to break down the stigma around mental health problems. Because that was and to some extent still is today the main problem with regard to mental health problems, stigma. So we made a press release saying that I was ill because of a depressive reaction. And that was released next morning. During the evening, I went to my office to meet the inner circle of the cabinet because we had already made an appointment to meet the day before the budget discussion in the cabinet to try to agree on some main lines. And I met there, but the Deputy Prime Minister took beside and said that I'm sorry, I cannot be in the cabinet tomorrow. So you have to lead the meeting. And maybe you also should lead this meeting now, this evening, to prepare for the cabinet meeting. And she accepted, Anne Enger, and I went home. Next morning we released the press release, and it was breaking news in media in Norway. So in radio, in TV, they had the breaking news and covered this, and I saw my colleagues in the cabinet, and especially the party leaders sitting there, telling the press that I was not able to be there. Many questions, and so on. So that I remember the day, the 21st of August, because that is my wife's birthday. So it's easy to remember.
Yeah, I see.